God has mercy. God has mercy on me. Mercy on me. Mercy on me. Mercy, mercy, mercy on me. Mercy on me. Mercy on me. Mercy, mercy.
They say the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but it's the color of one's skin and the beauty of one's eye. So many of us talk about dark skin, light skin, what is and what ain't within, but we overlook it all for the voodoo. You see, the physical has no bearing on the elegance and grace of the spiritual and mental one that's inside you, that creates the only one of you that it takes millions to make. I'm talking black and light, not white, the substance of nothingness, a blank page of anger and rage, giving you the belief of death, not rest. Life is a cipher, a circle that never ends, passing by trends and fads of trends, only to come black again. Truth, justice, and freedom. None of that is possible without unity. The you and I self, transit of you, the inner scope of self-love and hate. Travel away from the lies on the surface to keep from the unjust or ingesting their truth of their perception. The gods and goddesses are in we trust. Everything you hear, smell, and see is creator he. Everything you feel, learn, and touch is creation she. Does that make us gods as we go on debating the source of the we and the he and she? I am that I am. The truth is something found in what others want you to see and believe. Live to be real. Reality believe.
Yeah, man, we back at you once again, live right here on the Sunday afternoon at noon, as we promised, man, with Black Conscious Voices. It's yours truly, the Cyber DJ, the CK, on a Father's Day with my good brother, Mike Sypha, in the building.
Happy Father's Day to you, brother.
Hey, brother, same to you, brother. Happy
Yes, sir.
Father's Day, man. You're definitely a brother that deserves a huge Happy Father's Day, man. Since our very first, we actually met on the father plane. So
how about that?
You know what I'm saying?
You as well, brother.
Yeah,
you
most
as
definitely,
well, for
man.
sure.
Definitely, man. So
Real light.
oh, most deaf, man. So we back at you another week. I want to let everybody know the phone lines are open. 404-919-9363. But give us just a second before you dial in so we can kind of lay the platform for the show.
No doubt.
But this week, last week we just started a new week, but last week ended with the 155th commemorative anniversary of the end of slavery here in the United States of America. And amongst other things, we celebrated the opportunity to live in a country that we had slaved in for a long time, and beyond that, this was a situation that was well overdue. Even in it was a classic case of things that and how things actually, you see things actually roll over even to this day. The Emancipation Proclamation was actually put into order almost 2 years prior to this date, and it was just like certain people that were hard-nosed and like just refused to accept the fact, and made one reason or excuse or another why they wouldn't until this final situation, which is celebrated now, known as Juneteenth, this final battle that ended the war, Civil War that is, and gave us our freedom here in the United States completely. But even in that situation, as I don't know if you guys, who may or may not have checked me out Friday, a lot of brothers and sisters, didn't go anywhere, and in that transition they became paid laborers, and stayed on with the plantation owners, and that began the state of mind that has transitioned to where we're at now, where it's a corporation scenario, and again, with paid servants now, but still nonetheless servants. But I don't want to bring a damper to the day. It was a beautiful day. Definitely a beautiful day, man. And happy Father's Day to all the brothers out there, man. I know Mike has things he want to talk about, man. How's your week, brother?
It was pretty good, brother. I'm above ground.
Amen.
My heart's beating. I got air in my lungs. I got, a beautiful family.
Can't be more blessed, brother.
No, brother. I got another day to try some new things and try something different, to make my wrongs right and make my rights great and my greats extraordinary.
Yeah.
So with that, I just say thank you, and I'm grateful. Yeah, it's a beautiful day, man. Definitely shout out to all the real fathers out there, man. The brothers who are not there just for show, but the brothers who are definitely there for the experiences, good, bad, or otherwise, but stick and stay and fight through and, build and teach and bring forth, the realness of life. For the seeds that they planted, it's a hard job, man. It's a hard job, and it's a lot of us who who fight the fight every day and don't get the recognition or the appreciation. Not that it should be celebrated, to that point because, we all really put ourselves in those positions. But in doing so, we have to take responsibility for those actions, and we have to really be ready, willing, and able to push through those decisions, whether whether it's wanted or not, whether it was a situation of surprise or not, no, regardless of how the circumstances came about, you are what you are. And now, with dealing with it from the aspect of the future, we have to fight for the future and push through. And there's so many brothers out there who are doing it and doing it big and doing it well that we don't ever hear about, So shout out to y'all, man. Big ups.
Absolutely.
Much love and respect. Keep
Absolutely.
doing what you're doing. And, I got your back.
I wanted to give a big shout out to some of these young. I see a lot of young.
Exactly.
I see a lot of young fathers, man. These young brothers, man, that aren't being tempered by the way society has
tried to stigmatize them.
Yeah. And on top of that, man, even with some of the the kids' mamas, man, that come. I see a lot of young brothers really stepping their game up, and I want to shout y'all out today too, man. Because it's a beautiful thing to see that that unity, black love.
And brother,
is
we and not to cut you off, we have to really be appreciative all the way around, because it takes the recognition from brothers being able to see where their power is based.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, that's in the woman that they dealing with or the women that they dealing with. And no matter what, whether it's the woman or the women, when you recognize the power base, then it gives you that energy to forge forward. It gives you that strength to move on and keep fighting and keep struggling and keep going through all the things that you go through, in order to be a father to these children, to be a man and a husband to the women that, you have these children by. Because make no mistake about it, once you have children by a woman or by women, you are the husband, you are the father. So, like I said before, man, big ups, big shout out, young brothers and older heads that has transpired those messages and those educations to keep these brothers, in the know, or at least having them see the experience, even if it's just from the distance. I was talking the other day and realizing that, in my own rearing, a lot of times I have had animosities and struggles with my own father. But in reality, all the problems and pains that was caused by him gave me a certain aspect of being in life that I have to appreciate him for. So, even in that, again, I give thanks, man.
Absolutely, man. I actually, I was with my son, my oldest son, this morning, and I was ready to get here, and my oldest son, he's a father too at this point.
No
so
doubt.
He got his own little thing going, and I felt this move, and as I was feeling, really wanting to get to the office here this morning, what I'm saying, my old man came and knocked at the door.
3 generations.
Yeah, man, and he said, "Well, come on, we're gonna go over to the office." So he's actually starting his show back up this evening, man. Y'all make sure y'all check out Jumpin' Jack Jazz 6 to 7 right here, ATL Web Radio. Shout out to Jumpin' Jack. Happy Father's Day to you,
Happy
Pop.
Father's Day, Pops.
No doubt. Mr. Paul Freeman gonna be in the building today. Happy Father's Day to Mr. Paul Freeman. He's got to keep it moving today, man. So we just got a full line. Sunday got a full lineup for your ATL Web Radio. Shout out to all the BLD radio fam too, because we on both signals today. We simulcasting. So shout out everybody out on BLD radio side, atlwebradio.com. We in the building, BLD Film Studio. Happy Father's Day to my brothers, man. Kareem, Jamal, TR the General. You know what I'm saying? OGP, man. Most definitely. Y'all cats, man. Keep on doing what you're doing, man. Setting a good example for fathers and brothers everywhere, man. Much love to you. We are today. Today we have a pretty good platform set for you. Again, we want to talk about some of the things that are pertinent in the understanding of what Juneteenth really is. I also want to put a public notice out of something I think that we as a people should do coming up July 4th. You know what I'm saying? And then as well, man, we're gonna talk about some things. Mike, you were saying you want to talk about some things too, man.
Yeah, bro. Juneteenth is very symbolic. In a lot of different ways, it has caused and raised issues in our community for so long. Surprisingly, I found out, that one of the biggest most racist states in the Union was one of the first states to actually
pick it up.
Was one of the first states, brother, that legalized Juneteenth as a holiday.
Okay.
And that's Texas, man.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah. So it has its controversy. It has it's so much into this day, into these dates and time for us that it's not funny. And even still with these things that we've been through and we go through, the struggle is still real because we still got brothers in California, and I believe, I can't remember what the other state, but getting hung from trees. I mean, even today, we still got brothers getting shot down in the streets by the overseers, the officers and cops. Mm-hmm. We still got so many things that we having to go through and put up with and deal with, which raises the question really whether these legalizations of these holidays is for show. Is it to keep the narrative off of the minds of those who it is a parade to keep us captive into a certain state of thinking, to change or keep us away from the actual problems, which is dealing with the legalization or the law, the ramification of law. Right. While we out here celebrating Juneteenth, what laws are they putting in front of us, and what laws are they enforcing to make it, really a moot point behind our backs?
What are they throwing up around us to weaken us and take us out the game completely? It's so much, man.
Exactly. So I guess my basic point is that we have to keep our minds and our eyes open, our ears open. We got to stay into the struggle. We got to stay on our square, with the protest and the things that we do. Not only do we have to do them in those forms and fashions, we have to understand the purity in the organization, the purity of the organization or organizing those types of things, so that we don't get caught up in the ideology of others, so they won't have the ability to change the narrative on us. These type of things also raise questions for me as far as, when you look at the things that's happening with these officers, where do the black officers stand in these situations? How do they really feel, and what are they really going through in that blue uniform when they are a part of, when they participate in, or they see from afar these things happening to us? This is their community too. Do they take up on a blue blood mentality, or do they take up on a mentality of where there's nothing I can do about it and I'm just working a job and trying to get by? Or do they actually try to work something from within to help change the situations that we are being put through on a daily basis?
And I was not to cut you on that, but there's something that's going on right now with Atlanta Police Department that I'm really not sure exactly the root of it or exactly what's really going on. But what I do know is that there's been a ton of call outs, and there's actually in question, people have been in question, like, if I call 911, will somebody actually even make it?
Right.
And a lot of the brothers that are on the force are saying they got the blue flu.
How about that?
Yeah, and they're saying because of the rush to judgment on the officers that just did everything that they did. That this is a stand up for them, and they're calling out they haven't been going to work and so forth. And there's they've had to this new interim police chief Bryant. He's had to I guess do extra measures to get some other people in there to make sure they'll be able to cover these shifts.
Wow.
Some of the officers are working 2 and 3 shifts at a time. So
So is that causing more problems?
it would appear to be. It would appear to be, and
this new chief, is it a brother?
It's a brother.
Because I hadn't.
Yeah, they put a brother in place because I think they felt that the white woman was just going to be too much for the.
She couldn't handle the pressure, man.
Yeah, the pressure was going.
Because she's a part. 9 times out of 10 with the things that she was doing. If she felt pressure like that enough to just go ahead and quit, then she was part of the problem more than she was the solution.
Yeah.
But it's amazing because. Now how bad of a situation are we in now?
Right. Where is this? Yeah.
I mean, wow. We are, and that's why I say, with these celebrations and the popping off of these fireworks and things like that, man, I get it. It's a beautiful thing, but we have to be, we have to keep our minds open to the narrative. Keeping the narrative ours, making sure that we don't fall victim to being, under the illusion of inclusion. Don't think that we're at a point where now we can drop our guard.
Right.
Now is the time that our guard needs to go up higher. It needs to be stronger, and we need to set policy for ourselves and our own communities.
Absolutely.
We need to start, if the police are not going to be functional for us, then we need to start galvanizing our own patrol crews and get back to the ways of the Panther. But we have to be thoughtful. We have to be organized. We have to be united. We have to be on our square totally and move accordingly, because this is not a joke, and this is by no means over. Mm-hmm. We still at the beginning stages. I mean, if you notice, when all the rioting, and they say rioting, when all these young brothers and sisters started protesting, and I digress because in all the information that I seen, all the video that I seen, the rioters were Caucasian people.
Right.
The ones who were starting the trouble, setting the fires, breaking the windows, those were not black people. Right. In some cases, you had the ignorant ones jump in after everything was started, but the starting of the riots down here was done by white folks. So the protesters stay organized. The protesters protest with functional ideas that will galvanize thought and change. Come with some policies that you'd like to see in place. Come with some idea for the type of candidates that you would like to see in place. Do the research, do the work about who you're talking to and talking up for.
Okay, looks like we got a caller checking in.
That's what's happening.
One two. You're live on ATL Web Radio.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? This is Jordan. OG Mike, what's going on? Happy Father's Day to y'all, fellas, and everything, man.
Happy Father's Day, brother. Big up, man. Good to hear from you. How you doing?
Blessings, brother.
I'm good. And I was calling in because we talking about the protesting and how the folks was down there causing the riot, breaking in the windows and things. While we was down there, because me and my folks, we go down there from time to time, and while we was down there, the National Guard telling us like it's 100 white supremacists in the mix of our crowd,
exactly,
ready to start some BS just so we can get blamed for it and something can happen to us, you know.
Exactly.
So letting us know you putting up on game, letting us know it wasn't us that's out here causing all this ruckus.
Right.
We're out here peacefully protesting. They standing in the mix of us, trying to, you know, cause all kinds of destruction and what's the word I'm looking for?
Chaos.
Yeah, chaos. So that we can get blamed for it, like we the ones out here doing it when in fact we're not. We're standing for something that we believe in. We're standing for what we want and the change that we need. And they out here trying to, you know, say, you know what, fuck it. Since all these black folks in the one area, let's go ahead and just do what we got to do so we can cause them some ruckus and get them in trouble with the law or possibly get them hurt or shot with something.
Because that's the viewpoint of us already. So it only behooves them to expound that narrative in the eyes of the world, so there will be no sympathy for us.
Absolutely.
You know, you a young brother, man, that, you know, we rapped, and I've long admired for your tenacity and your ability to speak your mind. You know, and you being down there on the front line, man, down there protesting, man, I give you big ups. Peace and blessings to you as a father with them beautiful baby girls, and you know, thanks for calling, man. Stay up, do what you're doing, spread the word, and keep the minds, you know, occupied with the love and the peace that we're going to have to go forward with this.
I want to thank you too, brother, for checking in, and I think that you shared a very important piece of information that's not being reported by
Exactly.
the media and the news, you know, and even local radio. They would have you to believe that this is a combined effort by individuals that just want to tear cities down. And you just brought out something very, very, very relevant to that whole argument, and that is that the brothers that are out there, brothers and sisters that are out there protesting, for the most part, are protesting peacefully. But you have the white supremacists and racists that are sliding into these crowds, into these audiences, and beginning the looting process to incite the actual riots, and then it makes the whole thing look bad. And then it also draws down more pressure, especially on the brothers, because we're already the ones that are being targeted. Right. So, you know, hey, now we got something else to put on them. So, you know, I dig that, brother. And I definitely appreciate you for calling and sharing that, because people need to know that, man.
Hey, ain't no problem, man. I appreciate y'all for what y'all doing, man. Y'all keep your heads up, keep doing what you're doing, man.
Already.
Keep getting the word out to the blacks in the community, man.
Already, brother.
No
Happy
doubt,
Father's Day
J-Rock.
to you as well, bro.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
Stay up, brother.
What's up?
Another thing he said, man, that was a vital point was the National Guard down there speaking with him, telling him that it was some folks in the crowd that was looking to do damage.
That's deep.
So that lets you know that, just like I was
Even
speaking
they
to
know.
earlier, right? Not only they know, it's some in there that realize what's going on and how their part, even in the uniforms that they wear, is vital to their community. No matter what uniform they wear, the color of their skin still makes a difference. And that is big props, you know, for all the brothers and sisters in uniform that still stand for the love of your community.
Absolutely.
We know y'all there. We know y'all there.
Yeah.
You know,
but just like this situation, when we as brothers are out here, you know, protesting, like the brother said, and they put situations into cause, you know, that's what makes it so hard to see those brothers or hard to, but they're there. They are truly there, and I respect them. And at the end of the day, I've always, you know, had nothing but love for the individual that says, you know, based on, you know, what he sees in life, he, you know, will put his life on the line for everyone else, no matter what, and do it righteously. Now, there's one thing, you know, there's a righteous, you know, it's a lot of these situations don't gotta go as far as they go.
Right.
You know, but a lot of these guys, truth be told, man, are feel intimidated, and a lot of them really are actually, you know,
fearful.
They're scared.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a lot of these guys, even though they have all the weapons on their hip, you know, they don't know what's coming on the other side, man. And a lot of these guys get, you know, they really are scared.
Right. And the crazy thing about that, brother, is that they scared from both sides.
Right.
what are the people that they're facing going to do, and then what are the people that they supposedly representing going to do if they don't react in a certain manner.
Right.
So they getting it from both sides. But when you step into an arena, you got to know you got to know your responsibility, and you got to know what you're faced with as far as what's the word I'm looking for, the consequences of your actions.
Absolutely.
All the way around.
Absolutely. Every action has a reaction.
Has
brother.
a reaction,
Point
bro.
blank.
So when you agree to become that, know that there is no rest for the weary, and for to whom much is given, much is required. And if you got the balls to step into that arena and maintain your stance as far as your community, your blackness, oh man, you ain't got nothing but love for me. Now those who get shook and they run and they fall victim to inclusion, what you get is what you get, because the wrath is coming one way or another, and you can call it what you want to call it, but just like the body, when the earth is a structure from the essence of mother, that when you feed it the proper things, it will shake clear all of the diseases and the viruses and the things that is making it ill. It has the power to heal itself. So now that we are in a state where this earth is sick, oh, best believe Mama Earth is about to quake. She's about to shake some things clear to cleanse herself of all the negative aspects of being.
She's already began.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's a constant cycle, but I mean, you see it in
so many different realms.
Depth, in so many different levels. I mean, this year has been one of those years that we have just seen so many what would be considered, tragic situations left and right, man. And it's just we're at the halfway point.
Yep.
We've literally only had 6 months of 2020, and most people could say it's
6
probably
months,
been one
bro.
of the worst years of their lives. But I'm gonna tell you something, man. I think and don't take this the wrong way out there, audience. Because I'm not crazy, but I'm giving you some real understanding here. I thank God for COVID. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Truthfully, man.
It's waking some things up, ain't it?
I thank God for COVID-19 for a few different reasons. I don't thank God for, and at the end of the day, the things that, people are like, well, man, people die, a lot of people dying. And, at the end of the day, I feel like in certain instances, it's just, we all have our time. Everybody's clock is different. Yeah. And this might have been an opportunity for several exits to take place, at a high rate. I don't know exactly what the whole understanding is underneath the surface, because I'm not God. However, because God is in control, y'all. You got to keep that in mind at all times. But what I see right now, and why I say what I just said, is because during this time for COVID, from the time of the initial wording and misunderstandings and misconceptions about the coronavirus, all the way to the stay-at-home orders and the curfews and quarantines and everything that we've gone through, man, I think it's made a better awareness for us to the germ life. Mm-hmm. Something that most of us already know about and probably protect themselves on a regular basis from, but there's a lot of others that were so far away from that, number one. Number two, I've had an opportunity to recognize and dig a little deeper to see my spirit life and understand, because a lot of people had time to themselves, and I definitely had time off and had time to myself, and I reflected on, where I'm at based on this all-out catastrophe and where, a lot of things cross a lot of people's mind. What if? And a lot of people truly aren't prepared for the what ifs, man, for the the possibilities to the answers to the what ifs. And I think this time helped me further develop, prepare, and focus on my what ifs. And then on top of that, I've also had the opportunity to be blessed with a lot of new business because of the fact people weren't able to really get out and move around and do some of the things that they may have wanted to do. A lot of, especially independent artists and labels, utilize the internet services, so it gave me the opportunity to still continue to, move onward and upward and all the rest of it. So I have my, and I do have people that I know people that have actually passed from this situation. I know people that have caught it and have no symptoms, like close people. So I understand the pain and I feel the pain, but it's just been a whole point of reawakening, I think, for a lot of individuals. I think it's led a lot of individuals to get a little closer to themselves and to the unseen. And register with the unseen, and as well open up and utilize a little more so that third eye. Shout out to Germany, Montezuma, Georgia, Montreal, Quebec, Murfreesboro, North Carolina, the Ukraine for checking in with us right now, man. Shout out to everybody on the BLD radio side. Mike, man, it's just a lot going on right now, and I'm really trying to figure out, man, like it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be deep in probably about 5 years or 10 years when we can really look back on this and see all of the implications and where it was actually going.
Right. You made a couple of very valid points, brother, and brought up some situations in your statements that really galvanized ideas and thoughts on what this is actually doing for and putting on our community. The germ situation, like you said, is causing a lot of us to dig deep within ourselves, to galvanize ourselves with ourselves, and allowing us to see the importance of the connections with those next to us, our community, our brothers, our sisters, our friends, our cousins, and even connecting with those in our neighborhoods that likely we would have not connected with before, because now there's a lot of people that's having to walk, just to get out of the house, to break the stir crazy mentality of being captive or closed in walls that can actually drive you stir crazy. So being able to recognize that we are in the midst of germ warfare, opening up the thought processes of being able to see, wow, does the effect of this have anything to do with things that I actually put in my system? How can I combat this with the way that I take care of myself, the way that I eat, the way that I drink, the way that I sleep, the things that I sleep on, the houses that I sleep in? It really opens up your mind to every aspect of being, to question what's the next right move, not only for me, but for my children, for my family, and everybody around me. How do I get these messages and thoughts across so I can awaken my people to really the aspect of checking themselves? I don't have a problem knocking at your door. I don't have a problem banging you in the head every day talking about you need to eat right. I'm a vegan, been a vegan for over 10 years now, and it's a fight, especially when you're surrounded with influences of others that really don't care to take nuances or take notice of what the substances that they put in their body is doing to them. Because at this point, it's really not about flavor. It's not about taste or having something that satisfies you. It's about health. It's about what you put in your stomach, feeding your heart, and what you feed into your heart's feeding your brain, and how it gives you the functionality or the ability to function on a more clear more aware spiritual level. Another thing is, like I said, the bringing us together. Oh man, like I said, the beauty of it, if we are aware, is when I walk into places now, man, brothers that probably wouldn't even piss on me if I was on fire. Hey, what's happening, bro? Hey, sister, how you doing? They speaking. They really trying to be more cordial in recognizing who they see as the mirror in the eyes of the opposite.
That's right. I recognize that as well.
And that's a beautiful thing, man. That's a beautiful thing, and that's why I say we can't let these news lines, headlines, and media items take us away from that stance. That we can actually see, hear, feel, and touch every day in everyday walks of life. Because just because you want to pass a law to state something that we've been knowing for 400 years, it took 2 years for y'all to actually let the brothers in Galveston, Texas?
Galveston, Texas, yeah.
In other places, know that law had been passed that they don't have to be in shackles, so to speak, anymore.
Right, and there was a lot of excuses and so-called reasons, and there was a lot of theories about what could have possibly happened, but that was a bunch of BS, man. Just like a lot of the situations that we're still experiencing to this day, Mike. So I'm with you, brother. So with you.
So we just have to steadfast, man. We have to really do our research and do our work in knowing, why we do what we do, knowing that everything that's in the universe makes up the same systems of the universe is the same systems in physicality that make up us. So if there's iron in the dirt, if there's iron in the atmosphere, then believe it's iron in your body. Absolutely. It might not be as much, but best believe that you need that iron.
Right. That's
something that most of us will never get enough of in our lifetime. So we have to be aware of that. The calcium, everything, every substance known is a part of our makeup. Our bodies are universes within themselves. So we have to, if we're going to respect life, we have to respect the universe within us as well as on the outside of us. And we have to move in that narrative. We have to teach on that narrative, and we have to guide on that narrative.
Absolutely. I think something that I'm going to piggyback off of, that you piggybacked off of what I said, and I'm going to piggyback off of another instance of it. The germ war is very real.
Yeah.
This also was a great rehearsal, black people across the world. This was rehearsal.
Yeah.
Because it is understood now that we can admit something, or I'm not talking about us, but I'm talking about whoever admitted this virus, this man-made sickness that has killed so many people. Understand now that they completely understand that they can, put something into the environment and they can take out a bunch of people.
And target
hundreds of thousands of people. They can actually target a certain group.
Right.
Know that this is possible. Right. So in that, also develop a game plan for the next big hit.
Yep.
Because please believe, it might not come the way it just came, but it's on the way.
It's on the way.
So prepare yourselves. Get yourselves in order so, and a lot of people are familiar with the Bible, how in the Bible it speaks of Jesus coming in a blink flash an eye, and like a thief in the night or what have you. Have yourself together, so that you're prepared for that same instance that you've read about in the, most Bible readers anyway, that you've prepared for. Right. Prepare for, you never know. Prepare for the you never know, because you never know at this point. You
never know. And you can best believe that they got a vaccination for themselves.
They're prepared and have gotten far enough away by the time they deliver this and tucked in to just sit and watch, a squirm.
Yeah.
As they just did.
Right.
as they're doing right now, and as they still hold the threat over our heads of all-out martial law.
And still telling you that, okay, now enough time has passed. Now y'all can get back out there in them groups, and now you can go to the beauty salons, and you can go to the barbershops and the clubs and the
organized sports are on the way back.
Yeah, I mean, now we can put you back in groups, so now you can spread this even more, but it'll be more covertly now. So we not gonna really tell you that
we're probably
you still face the same threat.
Yeah, we're probably gonna add a few things to it now and mix it up.
Mutating. Yeah. What do you think all these shows about mutation? It really comes from, or really what it's about? It's not just of the human diaspora; it's of germ diaspora too, because that's life as well. Right. So,
that's initial life.
Right. That the mutation is real. The mutation has so many facets of existence that it's not even funny. So while you out there in them swimming pools and out at them restaurants eating and thinking that everything is cool,
over with.
Oh man, you better be aware.
And what's crazy is that I think the biggest thing is, just like it always has been, when it's, it was a big deal, and they wanted you to see all the information. 6-8 weeks ago, it was all over every news line. It was not space for any other news lines other than COVID-19 stories and coronavirus stories. Now you actually have to go look for it, but when you go look for it, the information is still there. And if you really look at it, you'll see that because of all of the total neglect to actually cover yourself from this situation, it is beginning to have hot spots in different areas. Once again, it's beginning to truly engage and go back up. Now, I am hearing that a lot of people are being tested and not and testing positive and not showing any symptoms, but that's not everybody.
Right.
It's some people that are still being put in hospitals, still being, ushered away from their people, their family members,
and what is that
dying.
Saying, brother? Yeah. What is that saying?
Yeah.
How can you test for something, have it, but not show no symptoms? Right. What I mean, for me, that speaks so loud as far as an underlying narrative that is not even funny. If you look on the continent of Africa and look at the different nations on that continent and see what their levels of the COVID virus is, it pales in comparison to any other nation on this earth right now. You have a few spots over there that are that have real issues with it, but not many. But it is really incumbent on us to know what's in our system, because when we know that, then we know what can attach itself to us, and we can also figure out how to get rid of or how to avoid the things that are trying to attach itself to our systems. Nature is always the best medicine. Nature is always the things that, like the brother alluded to, as far as any scripture, one of the things that it'll tell you, one of the first things that it'll tell you, that there's nothing on this planet that can be created that there's not a cure for. The problem now is that with all the rainforests and all the different structures of vegetation and foliage and forestry that's being destroyed, those cures are getting rarer and rarer to be able to develop, find, or have any information or knowing of. Because it may be a plant down in South America, it may be a plant over in Africa that we know nothing about here. Absolutely. That could cure cancer, could cure anything that we think.
And
of.
there are that I know. I know that they're in different places based on the way these soils are and the way irrigation works in these different places. Man, we know what it is, man. You got herbs and minerals that are knocking stuff out the box. It's just
Left
that, you
and
know,
right.
our thing is
Information.
information awareness.
Awareness.
You know?
Not knowing.
And those are the things that we got. Those are the things that we got to dig deeper on. You know, so that we can be able to present these situations to our families and our loved ones, and be able to, you know, help sustain life a little better than what this Western medicine is doing for us at this point in time. Because, man, you know, they're working against us, man. You know, if we don't have any people that's studying medicine and studying the herbs, you know, what does that leave us? That leave us dependent upon them.
That goes back to what we was talking about last week, as far as rearing our future, man.
Absolutely.
And sending them, putting them in positions to where, okay, you know, this is what you have to study.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I need you to study, because this is a part of your system. This is a part of your spirit and your aura. Now, when it comes to the arts, or when it comes to your passion, you can always do that too. But give them a directive.
Right.
Raise them with directive,
right.
So they'll have something to galvanize towards. So when they complete that mission,
mm-hmm.
they can come right back to the community and teach that mission to the future. That way we can always keep it going forward. And once you get that lesson plan out, or once you get that knowledge out to where it can be carried forward, then you can dive right on into your spirit. You can dive right on into your passion, and whether it be whatever it may be, you know, choose your art form to make you happy and still be able to sustain financial freedom, you know. But we got to start somewhere, and we got to start with the ability to, like I said, give them 400 years back, man, to ourselves, you know. They took it from us, and we built their nation. We built their financial stability in every means and aspect. So, you know, we got to get to a point where we understand, we overstand that, as far as if we're gonna sustain an interaction with monetary systems, mm-hmm. their monetary systems, mm-hmm. then there's a way that we're going to have to be able to ease ourselves off of it and still utilize it when we need to.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
We got to have a duality.
Or even an opportunity where we could present where we don't need it at all.
Well, I mean, as long as the system exists, then we're going to have to be able to deal with them in commerce one way or another until we can control our own. When we can control our own, we still going to have to be able to interact with them in theirs. Mm-hmm. So knowing both
in a trade scenario,
right.
Yeah, most definitely.
In places, you know, the optimum would be to be able to just say, forget it. You know, this is what it is, and this is how we moving. But reality is that until either one cease to exist, then the knowledge of the duality is going to have to be there until we get to a place where the functionality is rarely needed or not needed at all.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, most definitely.
And so henceforth, the barter system, henceforth, the even creation of our own financial institutions and financial exchanges. Mm-hmm. You know, mm-hmm. Why do you think that there's really no more gold in circulation? You know, it's a rhyme and reason to most action. You know, like you said, brother, to every action there's an opposite reaction. And now a lot of things that we're going through is because of how many lands. The brother last week was speaking about Haiti, speaking about places in South Africa, in Africa, period, and how many minerals have been stripped from these lands that are virtually unknown to the common being as far as the usages and the powers that they hold, you know. So we got to up our game, up our knowledge, up our systems, bro.
Yeah, most definitely. I thought we had a caller on the line, but I think they let me see. Caller, are you there? Caller, are you there? No, I think they hung up.
So call us back.
Call us back. Hit us back if you just called and we missed you. Give us a call back. Yeah, man, I totally agree with you, brother. I totally agree with you. And I think at this point, this again is another scenario that I can say I thank COVID for, because if nothing else, it should give, us the chance to see that we have to be more steadfast about our surroundings and developing our future and truly fortifying our communities.
Exactly.
Fortifying them with strength, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and
motion,
a roadmap, a something to see.
Plan.
Right.
Yeah.
Something to see and movement in place.
So while we out there celebrating, not to cut you off, brother, but while we out there celebrating Juneteenth, which is a beautiful thing, implement these thoughts and these educations for ourselves so we can continue celebrating Juneteenth, but only even in a stronger aspect of being independent. If you want to call this a second Independence Day, then first of all, let's never put ourselves second in anything.
Yeah, let's make this the first Independence Day, and then that's what I was going to say earlier. When July 4th comes, we need a hashtag our Juneteenth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, or something of that nature. You know what I'm saying. Let them know this is
Yeah.
But I was truthfully, man, and I dig exactly that's 100, Mike.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah. That's what we got. That's what we
got nothing but love for y'all.
Yeah, and that's what we have to hit, man. We're gonna get ready to go into a little break, man. Take 5, take 10, and come back and get ready for some of these calls. The phone lines will be opened up. But Mike, I know you wanted to talk about some things when we come back as well. Black family, black man, black sister.
Yeah.
As well as the offspring.
Yeah, man.
And unity. So we're gonna
definitely dive into that, brother.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
The importance of carrying on.
Absolutely. And I think while we're there, we definitely should point out how to make that happen in a light, especially in this day and time with all that's going on around us.
Yeah. Shed the love, spread the love, shed the hate, I should say, spread the love. Absolutely. Shed that hate, get up off of it, get it off of you.
Yeah. Y'all keep it locked right here. The phone lines are open, 404-919-9363. Black Conscious Voices. We live on Periscope, live on ATLWebRadio.com, and as well ATL Web Radio live on YouTube, man. Tell a friend. Tune in or be tuned out.
All the way.
They say the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but it's the color of one's skin and the beauty of one's eye. So many of us talk about dark skin, light skin, what is and what ain't within, but we overlook it all for the booty. You see, the physical has no bearing on the elegance and grace of the spiritual and mental one that's inside you, that creates the only one of you that it takes millions to make. I'm talking black and light, not white, the substance of nothingness, a blank page of anger and rage, giving you the belief of death, not rest. Life is a cipher, a circle that never ends, passing by trends and fads of trends, only to come black again. that is possible without unity. The you and I self, transit of you, the inner scope of self-love and hate. Travel away from the lies on the surface to keep from the unjust or ingesting their truth of their perception. The gods and goddesses are in we trust. Everything you hear, smell, and see is creator he. Everything you feel, learn, and touch is creation she. Does that make us gods as we go on debating the source of the we and the he and she? I am that I am. The truth is something found in what others want you to see and believe. Live to be real. Reality. Believe.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is my profound pleasure to introduce...
Yo, listen up. Let's do it. It's Black Conscious Voices on NWorksRadio.com.
Every ending has a beginning, but remember you got to crawl before you walk. Some start fast, some got lots of talk, but remember you got to crawl before you walk. Ending has a beginning, but remember you got to crawl before you walk. Some start fast, some got lots of talk, but remember you got to crawl before you walk. Ending has a beginning, but remember you got to crawl before you walk. Some start fast, some got lots of talk, but remember you got to crawl before you walk. Every ending has a beginning, but remember you got to crawl before you walk. Some start fast, some got lots of talk, but remember you got to crawl before you walk. Ending has a beginning, but remember you got to crawl before you Some start fast, some got lots of talk. But remember, you got to walk before you walk.
It's Black Conscious Voices on nwordsradio.com.
It's life, baby. Stuck on the wrong road with my devilish ways. Couldn't wait, cause I had to get paid. From the cradle to the radio, lost in the fade. Now will I make it out this maze? It started to red, the storm. I'm from the ghetto where ain't no bread, it's wrong. You red wrong, when you're wrong, we get you done. The light brings it, mama pray when your baby going created and haven't been to church real lately. I'm just praying that the Lord don't forsake me and let the devil break me. I'm trying to take my soul. It's so cold when you're traveling the narrow road. From the go behind money, power and home. That's how it go, it's cut. So you need to try to grow. Families approach, just know this life right here's no joke. People can't go cause they lost without no hope. It's all a fade till you really don't like hope. Got no money for watering lights. That's why my people put all night flights. Economy got us not living right. We need to walk, becoming everyday sacrifice. It's alive, it's life's a fate. It's alive, it's life's a fate. Stuck on this chapter, all to turn the page. They say wisdom and knowledge coming with age, but I'm young and getting locked up because I'm a rage. Man, cause I ain't got nothing stuck in the face. It's a choice that I chose, my decision was late. Right along with my bills and my children ain't eight. Yeah, I'm hiding in the mud so I won't feel their pain. Guess my problems having problems and I won't give them face. So I'm scared to see a mirror cause it won't be great. But my family still love me so I guess it's a way. Will I rob, still a kill? No, I won't go astray. I was blessed with a mama that is strong in the faith. Keep real friends around me and none of them fake. That's the only thing my daddy gave. Birds of a feather flock together so it ain't no brighter days. Cause the lights out living in a darker phase. Got no money for water and lights. That's why my people put all night flights. Economy got us not living right. We need to walk, becoming everyday sacrifice. It's alive, it's life's a fate. It's alive, it's life's a fate. Each and every day, nothing but trouble. Each and every way, that's why I pray to find my way. Cause this life ain't nothing but a constant fade. Looking in half on a full plate Patron, shiny white, still bleeding gone like a homeless bone. Nothing different with my low pain clones, stuck in the storm with this gold smoke stuck in my lung, pressing the charges. God is speaking, we gotta be cautious. Pull up, I'd rather be nauseous than go through this hell the dirt flossing. Even the bank is only one boss that's bossing. Knowing that you should be able to go through it without the duck and the stars. I work hard to keep mine from suffering and starving like mom did, but look, that's my target. So I won't rest till I'm done with these crimes. Regardless, I made a promise until this where I started. You know the faces I came in, knowing but God turned the pages. So I say come while the rest go up in rages. There's so much hate now, why y'all hate me? It's life's a fate. Got no money for water and lights. That's why my people put all night flights. Economy got us not living right. We need to walk, becoming everyday sacrifice. It's alive, it's life's a fate. It's alive, it's life's a fate. Each and every day, nothing but trouble. Each and every way, that's why I pray to find my way. Cause this life is nothing but a constant
I couldn't ride, girl, would you slide for a nigga? If I couldn't fly, shit, would you get high for a nigga? If I couldn't breathe in for me, babe, would you hold your breath? If I couldn't move, it's paralytic shit, would you take an extra step? I gotta know, yeah, that's something I gotta know. Is you my rider? Is you a soul? Should I treat you like a friend or a foe? Should I treat you like a wife or a hoe? Hold me up if I went down the road and I ain't shine, would you polish me gold? Stay down and just follow the code. If I went and told a lie, would you tell me the truth? I like another girl, big shit, and do you fuck another dude? Defend me if I'm on the news, knowing damn well you know that shit. Acting like you ain't new, you was riding with me too. If I wasn't able to see, would you open my eyes? If the sun shined on me, would you close the curtains? Would you open them blinds? I gotta know, was you down the ride or just watching none nigga change tires? If there was a no thought process, baby, would you be on my mind? I ain't clocking the trash, can you tell me, girl, is we wasting time? Shit dead, keep over lie, keep it straight, put that round in the spine. Boy, girl, is you got my side? I gotta know. Tell me what did you say? We can go back in time, do what you change your ways. If I couldn't ride, girl, would you slide for a nigga? If I couldn't fly, shit, would you get high for a nigga? If I couldn't breathe in for me, babe, would you hold your breath? If I couldn't move, it's paralytic shit, would you take a next step? I gotta know, yeah, that's something I gotta know. Is you my rider? Is you a soul? Should I treat you like a friend or a foe? Should I treat you like a wife or a hoe? Hold me up if I went down the road and I ain't shine, would you polish me gold? Stay down and just follow the code. Is it hard being you? Is it easy loving me? Or cut deep in the past? Is you here to stop the bleed? Or let it be what it be? Or make some unity? If I couldn't pay attention, shit, could you cover all the fees? Baby, am I what you want? Baby, am I what you need? Some of that shit that you want ain't really what you need. Put some distance in between, because the distance what you need. Do you hear the truth, darling girl, or you gon' ask what you need? Is it love real or sci-fi? Are we together like my ties? Is it cause I keep the Mac on me that we done lost connection like Wi-Fi? I just really wanna know if I'm the only one you're riding for. Tell me, girl, this your mileage low. If I couldn't ride, girl, would you slide for a nigga? If I couldn't fly, shit, would you get high for a nigga? If I couldn't breathe in for me, babe, would you hold your breath? If I couldn't move, it's paralytic shit, would you take a next step?
They say the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but it's the color of one's skin and the beauty of one's eye. So many of us talk about dark skin, light skin, what is and what ain't within, but we overlook it all for the booty. You see, the physical has no bearing on the elegance and grace of the spiritual and mental one that's inside you, that creates the only one of you that it takes millions to make. I'm talking black and light, not white, the substance of nothingness, a blank page of anger and rage, giving you the belief of death, not rest. Life is a cipher, a circle that never ends, passing by trends and fads of trends, only to come black again.
that is possible without unity. The you and I self, transit of you, the inner scope of self-love and hate. Travel away from the lies on the surface to keep from the unjust or ingesting their truth of their perception. The gods and goddesses are in we trust. Everything you hear, smell, and see is creator heat. Everything you feel, learn, and touch is creation she. Does that make us gods as we go on debating the source of the we in the he and she? I am that I am. The truth is something found in what others want you to see and believe. Live to be real. Reality. Believe.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is my profound pleasure to introduce...
Yo, listen up. Let's do it. It's Black Conscious Voices on NWorksRadio.com.
Yeah, man. ATL Web Radio, NWorksRadio.com, the original. We back in the building, man. I'm in here with my brother.
No doubt,
Mike Sypha, man. We've been going at this thing for quite some time, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm thankful. I don't know if you ever do it, but sometimes I go and I YouTube some
Check
of the
out
older
those shows.
Yeah.
Bro. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is, man. We've been working, brother, and we put in some good work, and we here to go a little further.
Yeah. The growth, man. The the ability to get more clear in the directive is really amazing to me.
Absolutely. I know for a fact, man, that we have some things going on behind the scenes that the people really have to tune into, man. Get into you have the largest library known to man, and I speak it on a regular basis, and I still ask questions, because I like to see what other people think about something sometimes, prior to me, engaging in it myself, or while doing so, or even after I've actually developed my own opinion, just to see what other people are thinking. So,
right.
I'm hip and I'm aware, but I like to, to a lot of things, but I'm always open to learn some new stuff, simply because, I'm constantly excited by new information, especially positive information or preventive information or precautionary information.
The best way to learn, bro.
I know you wanted to get into some stuff, but before we do, man, I wanted to tell these people, because I was going to say it before we went into the break, and I kind of lost my train of thought. But I was on the AJC.com news, the coronavirus in Georgia, the COVID dashboard, and if you actually have opportunity, go check this out. I'm going to actually post the link for it in the comments for this video, so you can actually check it out. But the numbers, man, right now, as of yesterday, in fact, for Georgia newly reported cases, it's higher than it's ever been. Even all throughout the shelter in place at its peak, it was not as high as it is right now, man. So that's something to be aware of
and concerned about,
and very concerned about. They coined, and I don't know if you've been checking your news lines, the CNBC, the CNNs, Fox News, all the CBS News networks. All of them have coined a second wave for quite some time now. Coined the phrase second wave of COVID-19. With that being said, it's being spoken into existence, even if it, even if it wasn't before us at this point.
Don't you understand or overstand that if they speaking it on the news, then that's something that has been already planned and put in and implemented.
Absolutely.
Sound like we got a caller, bro.
Hey, Mr. Freeman.
Yeah, so we have to really be aware of the information that we are, letting them sigils seek into our mind states and in our ears and the vibrations that we pick up, because we know what they putting out here. I mean, we can see what their prime directive is, and it's to some degree population control. And the question has to be, what's the purpose of controlling the populace? What are you trying to achieve by that functionality? We taking a certain amount of people, and it's not really just a certain amount of people, it's a certain group of people that we're trying to wipe off the face of this earth. And I say we kind of facetiously, but there is a point of contact, there's a point of direct instituting this directive. In everything that we experience, the black community, who has been and who is and who continues to be the target. So knowing that we are targets, knowing that everything we do there's a problem with, knowing that everything we have created that has been taken from us and claimed to be someone other than ours, we should realize that we have a target on our back. And we have to come to a conclusion about how, what, when, and where to do about getting this target off of us. Interaction is to some degree overrated when it comes to, let me digress, not interaction. What do they call it? When we were segregated, we had so much more than what we have now. So now that we are integrated, we have so much less. So our integrating into a system that has no love for us, that has nothing but disdain and death for us, is obviously not the way to go. Obviously not the way to go. So we have to really come to a conclusion to the facts that have presented themselves to us in the amount of time that we've been alive, as well as we've seen the experiences of our forefathers and mothers in their lives and lifetimes. It's not a secret no more. You can ask any of the so-called leaders of the past and their offsprings and how they were affected by the assassinations. And I'm not laughing as if that's a joke. It's to the point of, why are we pretending that, that this stuff doesn't exist? Why do we pretend that these people don't have a prime directive when it comes to our destruction?
Absolutely.
We have to really change our thoughts and our actions and our focus as far as convenience.
Right.
What they put in front of us as far as the evil being fair seeming, the clubs, the partying, the booze, the this, the that, the sexual inference, as if everything that you are taught against spiritually is what they advertise to you as being okay. Evil fair seeming, and not evil as far as natural acts of human beings, interaction between man and woman. Let's be real. It's not always what you do, it's how you do what you do. And if you're not moving in the way of, it's a big difference.
Amboy, New Jersey, Montezuma, Georgia. YouTube, shout out to the people on Periscope. I just flipped the camera around. Sorry, it's a little lopsided, but I'm gonna have it together for you by next week. But I felt like we had a better, clear view with this one. So we clearly trying to bring you into awareness on a lot of real issues in black society, black culture, black community, black America, in fact.
Yeah, man.
And Mike, I see a transformation coming, and again, this is a situation. This is an opportunity for us to come together, and I think we need to inspire in the community meetings.
Yeah.
Regular community meetings where the brothers and sisters come out once a week. Not on when it's not anything going on. When we're just shaping and developing the community.
Right.
Not when Earl got killed by the cop,
right.
or
right.
when for Johnny's funeral.
Right.
None of that. For the family reunion. I'm talking on a weekly basis, man. We go into a library or we go into a auditorium somewhere, man, and we discuss it. Man, we pull out the pads, we roll our sleeves up, pull out the pens and the pads, and we like you said, we put some work in, brother. And it starts from a conversation.
Yep, brother. That is so poignant. It's not even funny. You brought that up in such with such elegance. It's a beautiful thing because we need that. And we need to start doing that now. And we don't need to announce it to the point of, getting on the TV and banging our drums. I was once taught, you don't have to tell me that you're coming.
Right.
Because I'll see you when you get there.
Absolutely.
So banging your drums and tooting your horns and polarizing yourself to where everybody has to take a look at you is not how we trying to move. We need to get to a point where we build structures and we build things so you have no choice but to take notice of us.
Absolutely.
And that starts with these type of functions and meetings. So if you are in the mind of doing those type things and doing that, hit us up. Give us some ideas on where and how, and who's actually interested in doing this, and we can make this happen. This is not something that we are just speaking to be speaking about. We are fully entrenched in trying to build and trying to get these situations underway so that we can do and be what we speak about.
Absolutely. Doing
and being.
Absolutely. I would, at this point, man, it takes a start. We got to start.
It does.
We got to start. We call a day, and we move on it, man.
It does, brother. It's like anything you do. Trying to get into better health, trying to exercise. The hardest thing to do is get started.
Absolutely.
Once you get started, boy, doors start opening and pathways start creating themselves. Mm-hmm. And, you start to see a little clearer on how and where to move. And so we need to get started. We need to just get started. Get started. It ain't going to be perfect in the beginning, but with the gathering, then we can create organization. When we know who's with us, when we know who's down for what has to be done, then we can start organizing ourselves as individuals and as a group to move where and how we need to move.
Absolutely.
So please, if you down, don't just say you down. Let's make this happen.
404-919-9363. The number's right behind me on the banner there. Feel free to check in with us. And let us know what's on your mind, man.
No doubt.
We're gonna get this. We're gonna get this thing going, man. Like I'm really. Okay, we got a call in, checking in. Hey, you live on ATL Web Radio.
Let us know what's on your mind, man.
You're live on ATL Web Radio. What's good with you?
We're going to get this thing going.
I'm calling into the broadcast.
definitely. If you would please just turn the radio down. We can hear the show in the background. Go ahead and holler at us, sister. What's going on with your day?
I'm listening to the broadcast, and my question is, okay, how do we get started? They said we got to get started. I want to know what's the first step. I'm in.
Well, the first step in my eyes is like I said, call a date. We have a small facility we can start right here where we do our live broadcasts in our studio right here in Atlanta, Georgia, and that becomes a platform to grow from. But at the end of the day, I say if this is something you're interested in, sister, drop us. You've got the number, the same number that you called in on. Send us your email address, and we'll keep you informed because the time is now. The time is definitely now. We're in the process.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I'm saying, okay, I'm looking at this capitalism. Mm-hmm. Capitalism requires servants and slaves, and we are it. So if we're going to get out of that position, who's going to fill the position, or what's going to change things?
Well, in my eyes, those who are asleep, those who maintain the mindset of being asleep, who don't care to change their own narratives and their own behaviors and ways of being and acting, will be the ones that fill that void for those who need and want servants in capitalism. The problem is going to be the ones who are seeking to get off that ship and seeking to get out of those shackles actively and with motive and organization, doing the same things that we're speaking about as far as coming together and building systems and situations to where we can destroy these shackles so we don't ever have to worry about them again. Now, with that said, we're going to actively also have to be prepared for the backlash,
the fallout.
So
exactly,
it's not an easy task, but we have to. It's a demand that we start. And so with that, if you weak of mind and weak of heart and not ready to sacrifice, then we don't need you. We don't want you, and peace and blessings be with you, because this is not for the faint of heart. This is not for those who have that are so afraid of what is coming to you anyway, which is death.
Right.
That if you get shaken by somebody threatening your life, we got love.
Or telling you to work against your own people.
Right.
Because people plant people into things to destroy things.
Right.
But what about you've heard of the Green Book, I'm sure.
Yes.
We need a Green Book.
Yes.
We need a Green Book.
We definitely do. And that comes from minds like yourself and putting together a core group of individuals from different generations to build this Green Book.
That's true.
So we can have a diaspora of multifaceted ideas and mindsets to create a legacy and a lineage of where to start, how to build, how to work on the mistakes,
and where to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Organizing.
Because if you don't know what's available, then you can't get there. So we have a Green Book and know where to go, and it can be accountable, and we can keep up with the progress of it and everything. That might be a good start.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely a good start. So we're like I said, we're definitely opening the door. We're definitely trying to construct a pathway, or if nothing else, a doorway to be able to walk through. To start, me and
because they're planning and they're preparing to.
Actions speak louder than words. Most so our scenarios around us. Our auras can read other auras and know the negative from the positive, especially when we flow in a certain
Absolutely.
energy.
Absolutely.
You know, when we flow in that negative can't disrupt that positive energy unless it's more powerful. So, you know,
Right.
being in a situation where we are so divided keeps us in a situation of being conquered because our positive energies aren't galvanized enough to defeat the more powerful negative energy that surrounds us. So
Yeah, well, the system has been pretty successful in wearing us down.
Yeah.
You know, you come with a good charge and they knock you back, and you come with another good charge from another angle, and that's what they keep counting on.
Right.
So we gotta hit them with full force, or they, they got a plan.
Yeah. And they hear us, they see us, they know that it's coming. That's why they put into media outlets and whatnot these laws for Juneteenth and whatnot, because they know what's on the horizon, what's on the uprise. So now they can start implementing those infiltrators, those rules and laws, to go ahead and knock this off its block when it gets started on a upward swing. So we have to really be not only careful, but we have to be dynamic in our jest of accomplishing the goals that we set forth to accomplish. You know, we have to.
Yeah.
We can't be scared. The time for fear is.
Well, I also have I'm really proud of the young people that are out there, showing little or no fear, to just stand and go day after day to, speak up and stand and all of that.
Yes.
But if the organization is not there, then that's where they're going to hit us.
Exactly. Just like the young brother was saying earlier, they out there. They out there. And the beautiful thing is that they out there on both sides. They're not reporting that part of it. And so we do have allies that have knowledge on how to protect us, on how to build defenses for us, but we can't let you can't tell everybody what everybody's doing and expect success. You got to keep things to yourself. You got to keep, your hand well covered, in order to be able to play the cards that need to be played when it's time to play them. So, we just have to really get to a point where either we don't care about the consequence, or we care enough about the consequence to galvanize a plan against the consequence.
Yeah, well, I think if we could get us a green book going, with all of the necessary information that we need, and can work from there, it'll be a lot more helpful and beneficial to those who are not in the circle of, well, did you know this was here? Did you know that was there? Did you know this was available?
Well, we have to definitely build a blueprint. We definitely have to know those ones who have the ability and the mindset to build that blueprint. And them take initiative to build it, so when we come together, there's already a construct, so we can start putting it together. So any information that any ideas that you have, jot them down. Even if you write them down and keep them in a notebook, a notepad to yourself, until we can get to a point where we can share them comfortably and vehemently with one another, without no problems of consequence or infiltrators or somebody who might destroy what we're trying to build. But my point is, take advantage of what comes of the energy that comes to your mind. Write those things down. Start spell binding.
I'll do that. I will do that.
And putting that information down, so when we are able to come together, we can collectively say, okay, well, this is the idea. And then the next person can say, okay, well, man, that's cool, because this is how I can build on that idea. And the next person can say, well, yeah, you know what, that goes right inside what I wrote down for this and that. And so we can just start putting the pieces of the puzzle together.
All right.
Absolutely. I also say in that same fold that the whole picture now has to be unveiled in order for people to see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
That's where we have to go now.
Yes.
I thank you so much for calling in and checking with us today.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm enjoying your broadcast.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I think it's very needed. Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am. Spread the word.
Be blessed.
Spread the word. And you too.
I will. I will.
Peace and love.
All right.
Blessings.
Yeah,
man. So, sister has some very, very, very good points, man.
Yeah, definitely.
And she spoke of some things that work perfectly for fitting inside of this scenario. That
building this construct
that makes plenty of good sense.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, man. It's just recognize those ones like her. Like I say, that we would put into active motion on this board.
Okay. Call check in. You're live on ATLWebRadio.com. Black Conscious Voices.
You there, caller?
I can. You know what? You went to the wrong side. It's okay. Stay right there where you at. We're gonna get you live. We're gonna get you live. Stay right there, sister.
Yeah. So once we able to build the scenarios for putting these things and these people in place, man, where we can actually elect boards and build these ideas, man. We can
absolutely, sister. We got you live on ATL Web Radio.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. How you doing today?
I just want to get your thoughts on a couple of things I was thinking about listening to you two. One of the things is starting this movement. There are a lot of people that feel they should be the leader. There are a lot of people that want to have input, not necessarily for the betterment of everyone involved, but how would you go about trying to put in place the proper people? And is it necessary to have I guess what I'm trying to say, is it necessary to have a whole group of people or even one person? What would be the best way to go about trying to find the right like-minded people and making sure they stay on course? Because if you know, throughout history, a lot of people start off with very good intentions, and then everything just started going horribly wrong, and it affected the people in a negative way. So how would you go about doing that? Because there are a lot of people that want to, but at the same time they feel like they want to lead, and I don't think we necessarily need people to have that mindset about following that one person. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Great point. Great question. First and foremost, for me, anybody who shows aspirations of being a leader are automatically excluded. Actions speak louder than words. Your work will prove who you are and what you are willing and able to do for the collective. When it comes to having one leader, I think we touched on that last week as far as who our leaders are and whether it's necessary to have them or not. When it comes to my approach to this, it would definitely be more like I was just speaking with the previous caller about those whose actions has proven what they're about and where they're willing to go in this movement are the ones that we choose. And we choose them from not just a certain age group or that they have to be this or that. We choose them from the aspect of where they're going, the mental strength, the idealistic foresight. And you could be 10, you can be 21, you can be 81, you can be 31, but those the demand for the different places of being
and the physicality in the situation that we're in now is the important thing, because we need each generation to be heard, felt, seen, and in a situation to where we can actively cover each dynamic for the betterment of everybody. So I hope that kid kind of gives you some insight to the mindset of how we build going forward, because one leader obviously is not the way. Two leaders obviously is not the way. If you look at the presidency alone, it'll tell you, anybody who has any type of, what's the word I'm looking for? Any type of desire for power, automatically excluded.
Right.
Anybody who thinks that they're smarter than anybody else, automatically excluded.
Well, I was also looking at a platform that has kind of made sense in other cultures. And it's basically a platform in which the actual community themselves vote for a board or a group of individuals
that represents them
as
a whole. Exactly.
And with that, there would be no leader, because it would be the I don't know what to ask, but the groups. It will be the groups, working, and each person in the group will be represented by the members of the community.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I'm trying to get off my tongue, is the representation of the people is what's most important. And we have so many different dynamics in our culture that we have to effectively and actively be able to touch, reach, and work for the collective. We have to be able to represent them in a way that makes them ready, willing, and able to fight for us, to make sure that we give them what they need, desire, and what keeps them in the positive as far as life. Living with a positive outlook, living with the mind state of I can and I will instead of what if. You sound like you have a certain idea on how this could forge forward yourself. Do you have any more input on or ideas or even suggestions of how this would go forward?
Well, I like the fact that what you mentioned, there are so many different people, so many different walks of life and experiences and education, to have somebody represent those different groups of people, just like what you said before, like a board. Mm-hmm. And nothing could get done until there's some type of an agreement, because one of the first things that I'm sure we all know is you can't please everybody.
No.
Everybody's not going to get everything they want. But to put in place a group of people that would work and try their best to represent and put forth some goals to make sure that the people are not only represented,
but at least
also what they want or what they need, more importantly, what they need is put forth.
Right.
Because in politics today, that's how it's supposed to be, but it's not. Everybody has their own agenda, and their own agenda usually just represents that one group of people that have money.
Greed.
And what black people, Latinos, just non-white people are not being represented properly. And the people that look like us, that are up there and say that, they don't represent us, and they don't represent properly. Again, they may have went in to do good, to change certain things about politics, to change the state and the way it's run, but in the end, they were the ones changed. So I just think it needs to go back to a grassroots, a more organic level.
And I agree, sister. And it goes back to what the previous caller said. The sister was mentioning creating or having a green book, and so those mind states that we are speaking on and speaking about, we have to get to a point where we can actively jot those ideas down and bring them to the table when the table is built, and just like King Arthur's round table, we need to build a table that everybody can be seen and everybody can be heard and everybody can be felt, because it ain't no head of the table, it's just the table, and where ideas are brought and ideas are built and ideas are created and systems are made for the good of the collective, good for everybody. And like you said, which I agree wholeheartedly, everybody's not going to get what they want, but can they be satisfied in getting what they need until they can get what they want, and it still be good, not just for them but for everybody? And that to me is the importance.
Right. I think another thing that needs to be mentioned, and a lot of people, they don't like to talk about it. They mention it. When it's mentioned, other people, they shut them down real quick. I remember the minister being one of the people to talk about this, and a few other leaders, the so-called leaders. There are a lot of us out there that want to do good, and then there's a lot of us that don't care and they don't want to see us rise. And a lot of those people, they have to go.
True indeed.
The ones that are all about the negative and not really striving, and that don't care, and they're just there. They're in the way, basically, and they're making us look bad. They have to go.
That's a very interesting point. Very interesting point, and in a lot of ways, I completely agree. I also say at the point that we're at right now, the ones of us that are conscious enough and aware enough and have the ability to have to act and move around those and continue to develop around those. Like Brother Mike said earlier, I think the picture being properly drawn will only entice others, even if they're not fully aware of what they're being enticed by or to want to be a part of, and then they might be able to better shown what the bigger picture truly consists of.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel this. At some point in time, there are going to be sacrifices that has to be made.
Absolutely.
At some point in time, that sacrifice could be one of my closest relatives. It could be a loved one or a friend, somebody that I know, simply because they will do us more harm than they will do us good moving forward. That's no question, no doubt in my mind. And that speaks to what the sister was saying earlier as far as infiltrators. If we don't take a stand, if we don't implement plans and situations and scenarios for protecting ourselves, then we do and we will always have those infiltrators. We will always have those who will assimilate to our enemies and think that they will get something much better or worth much more than what we have to present and offer them, so that they have no problem coming in trying to cut our trees down so our forest won't be what it's supposed to be for us. So I agree with you in that aspect, sister, that we have to really lay the groundwork and set a form and a basis for which we will not waver from. We have to really be able to build the blocks not only up around us, but the paths for which we are embarking on taking. We have to build the blocks for those paths, so those paths won't be shaken and broken down and unworthy of travel, of course there's going to be casualties. Positively and negatively, there's going to be casualties. Am I ready for that? I would hope that I am. I believe that I am. But does the rabbit ever feel that he's ready to take that shot? Or is the hunter really ever really to take that shot when the rabbit is the one with the gun? So that's where the portion of education and training and building up structures so we can fortify the magnitudes from the ground up: mind, body, spirit, soul. We have to fortify those structures with not only with the things that we do, with the things that we teach and learn, but the things that we put into our systems and the things that we eat, drink, smoke, whatever the case may be. Because on all levels, if you're not together and you're not tight and you're not strong, then you can be attacked on any of those levels.
Absolutely.
I agree 100%.
Absolutely. I wanted to lend to that as well. I agree with you wholeheartedly on that, bro. That there will come a time, and that we are fastly approaching that time. But at any rate, there is a definite mission ahead of us, and we definitely need to form in a positive with a positive vibration in order to.
And not to cut you off, I agree with you as well, brother, because there are going to be ones out there that are so on the fence that the love that we build, the things that we build, or hopefully we in mind state of doing and being and becoming, will get them to say, you know what, I'm through straddling the fence and this is where I want to be.
Right.
So we have to be mindful of that as well.
Absolutely.
Sorry
Absolutely.
about that.
Most definitely. No, most definitely. Sister, I thank you for chiming in.
No doubt.
You have any other thoughts or things you want to say to us?
I just want to say keep up the show. It's much needed and much appreciated, especially in these times and what's going on now. It's something that needs to keep going.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Keep spread the word and just keep coming back, sis. And as well, don't hesitate to chime in and give your thoughts. We definitely appreciate.
Let your voice be heard.
Absolutely, we appreciate the love and for checking in with us today.
All right, thank you.
Peace and blessings.
Thank you.
Peace and blessings, sister. Yeah, man. So the overall impact, man, is people are ready, man. People are ready to get.
Hungry.
The revolution is something that is right with us. It's live, man. It's going down. Yeah. When you start seeing brothers being lynched,
oh man,
because of us standing up for our rights,
man.
And the want to be treated fairly and truly, be free in a place that we have supposed to have been free in
anyway.
And for hundreds of years now, it's like, come on, man.
And the more we stand up and protest peacefully, the more they shoot and kill us. The more that they hang us from trees. The bolder we get with the ability to protest without giving you a reason to do more damage. You do more damage anyway.
Right.
You can't tell me that there's not a breaking point coming. And that might be what the goal is. So we have to be intelligent. We have to be spiritually in tune and in touch. We have to be educated within ourselves and within our construct from whom and what we were created from, to be able to connect and contact and speak to directly when we need to. It's not that it's not being seen, it's not that it's not being felt, but are we doing our part so that those cries will affect the outcome of the one that is waiting to protect us? Waiting to protect us because of the love that we've come back into being and giving it back to the one that created us. Because we not really doing that, no matter what you say, no matter what Bible you read, what Quran, Torah, whatever book that you might read, whatever sect that you with, or whatever participation that you will have in separating yourselves from one another by saying, I'm so and so, I'm this, I'm over here, I'm over there, this is what I believe, that can't be right because this is right, when it's all the same. So get the wool and the dust and the smut and the dirt out your eyes and ears and participate in reality. Participate in the active giving of love and protection.
Absolutely, brother. I see we got some new listeners checking in. Manassas, Virginia, Belgium,
peace and blessings.
Netherlands. I saw Argentina in there a little while ago. Shout out to all of y'all, man, that are
definitely
tuning in to Black Conscious Voices, man. I say this audience just keeps growing each and every week, and I'm thankful. We roll right through another week, man. Another hot show. Thanks to all of the people that called in today. Definitely. And checked in with us, man. It's just one of those things now that, like I was saying, we was just, me and my brother were just saying outside, man, we could feel it. Mm-hmm. It's time for this thing to really catch fire. And it helps to centrifugate the whole movement of everything that's going on around us. But definitely, if you're interested in coming together and talking and beginning the conversation as to reform and reprogram and re-educating in order to build that better today and tomorrow, drop us your email, man.
Get in touch.
The phone number is 44919-9363. Send a text with your email address. And man, we're going to get to it. We're going to give you some information. We're going to start setting up a meetup, man, here probably once a month, man. And we started there, and we'll advertise it right here, and we'll email it out to you and let you know the location and all that kind of good stuff, man, so that we can get involved, man. And we're going to pay close attention to everybody that gets involved. Understood. Everybody that's getting involved needs to have that completely understood.
Exactly.
It's going to be not a heavy scrutiny, but it's going to.
Yeah. You know, brother.
Straight up.
Your existence in my presence, in mine and yours, has been galvanized by not only, but definitely significantly by the words tune in or be tuned out.
Absolutely.
From the very first day that I heard that, it galvanized a connection with me, because that's on the level for which I exist, the ability
to tune
in.
Absolutely.
That get to the point where we understand what's being said, enter over and understand what's being said, and break down the barriers and be able to decode the things that we are being programmed with every day, so we can tune in, so we won't be tuned out.
That's right.
So I appreciate you greatly for that, bro.
It's crazy, man. My cousin Hassan, when we very first started NWorks Radio back in 2001, it's something that just kind of rolled off of his tongue. and I could never stop saying it. You know, he said it one time.
I bet.
And Cuz didn't even realize what he was doing when he did it. You know, and it's stuck ever since, man.
Yeah.
That's and that's his major part in this, his major contribution in this whole situation. You know, other than the call-ins he might do from time to time or the pull-ups, you know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Shout out to Big Cuz, man. But yeah, man, and that registers with so many individuals. People say it wrong from time to time. People get it right the first time around sometimes. I mean, but at the same time, it's always the understanding behind it. Yeah, it's the message, man. That you know, either you're going to, you know, be tuned in, or it's like the
you don't have a choice.
It's just like that. You get right or get left.
Right.
You know, it's the same scenario, man.
Right. Exactly, brother.
You know, so again, I want to thank you, bro, for coming in. Happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to all the listening fathers out there, man, that doing their thing out there. Yeah. And respectfully, you know, raising these children to the best of their ability, man. Shout out to all of y'all, man. And shout out to the guys that may not even really be fathers, but are doing fatherly duties.
Brother, how you gonna sit up and read my mind?
Yeah, man.
Oh, man.
Because there's a lot of brothers out here,
community
man,
fathers.
Community
fathers to
man.
these children that ain't even
societal
yours.
Fathers. Indeed, man. Indeed, man.
Yeah, real talk, bro. Real talk.
Yeah, man. So
love
shout out to all y'all too, man. Much
big
love,
up.
man. Absolutely.
Big up, man.
Absolutely,
keep doing
man.
what you're doing, and again, get involved, man. Get in touch, because that's a part of our movement. It's a community thing. It's a life thing. It ain't about, you know, my family, your family. It's about our family.
Absolutely.
So let's move.
And one family teaches another family, and another family teaches the next, man.
Exactly.
You know, each one teach one. That's the way it goes, man. So
exactly.
We work together. We come together in unity. It's time to change it, man. It's time to change this. You know, we see it, all the signs are apparent. There's nothing else that we need to be shown to say, hey, pay fucking attention. Excuse my French. Pay attention. And, you know, be cautious.
Because it's costing you anyway.
That's right. That's right.
It's costing you anyway.
That's right. Absolutely, man. So, yeah, thanks, brother. I appreciate you, man. And we're going to get ready to get out of here.
I appreciate you.
We got Mr. Paul Freeman on the way, 3 o'clock. And then we also got the Keep It Moving show. And then we also got some jazz coming for you tonight. 67 man. Jumping Jack Jazz with my old man, the Jumping Jack, man. So, y'all keep it locked right here. ATLWebRadio.com. Tune in.
Or be tuned out. Peace and love.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is my profound pleasure to introduce...
Yo, listen up. Let's do it. It's Black Conscious Voices on NWorksRadio.com.
Paying respect to the families and the victims. I don't know them, but I'm praying with them. Crying with them.
I'ma use my voice, you should do the same. I'ma use my voice until them tables change. Situations that weren't meant for us, but we always end up in it. And the first thing that they scream is they understand how. When this shit only happened because the color of my skin. Dear Lord, I pray you lay your hands on this nation. Every time I turn the TV on, it's people being racist or it's police killing blacks. I'ma use my voice, you should do the same. I'ma use my voice until them tables change. Until black lives matter, then it's no lives matter. How we gon' climb the ladder? How we gon' stand together? How we